All right, Wayne.
Yes.
Wayne, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport. And
Yes.
tell me about your family growing up.
Um, my family, I had my mother and my father in my life. Um, my childhood was good up until a certain point. I remember um, being a happy, go-lucky child. Um, my mother used to drink, but I didn't know anything about drinking, anything like that. I just know that my mother used to drink and she would come home and she would always fall asleep. And so I'm the oldest of three children. It's me, my baby brother, and my baby sister. So at an early age, I had to look out for my brother and my sister. Um, and my mother would come home and fall asleep. Sometimes she would come home and make dinner for us and stuff like that, but most of the time she would come home and go to sleep. And by me being from Shreveport, Louisiana, I was raised in a little town called Cullen, Louisiana. It's like maybe 50 to 60 miles outside of Shreveport. And I had a lot of family out there, and we were all in the same vicinity, so it was nothing for me, my sister, my brother to go to my auntie's house and eat and stuff like that. And you know, it was my childhood was it was up. It got confusing at times because my father, I really didn't get to spend a lot of time with him because I used to always wonder why he wasn't around a lot. Um, and so later on, growing up, I found out that my father had four different sets of kids. He had a lot of women in a little small town that I was raised in. But when he came by, he was, as far as I can remember, in the beginning, he was kind, he was loving, um, and he was a strong figure in my life. And I used to go to his house and visit him when he was living with another lady, and the other lady didn't like me, and I didn't understand why. And so my father would come to our house sometime and be with my mom, and they would argue and fight and stuff like that sometime, and I didn't know what was going on. So I remember one day, I think I was maybe 4, he came over and he started beating up my mother. And I remember I tried to stop him from beating up my mother, and he slapped me in my mouth and knocked 2 of my teeth out. Um, and I didn't know if he did that because he didn't love me or if I was being out of line. Or I didn't know because, like I said, I was 4 years old. And one day he came over. My mother was drinking sleep as usual, and he had been drinking too, and he told me to come and sit on his lap. And so I did. This is my father. I don't know any other man but him, and I'm a child, so I don't think he's going to harm me or hurt me, anything like that. And so he started to rub on my legs and stuff like that. And at first, it started off like playing, playing around with me and stuff like that. I never thought anything of it, so that's how it started. And then it started to progress. So my childhood I'm still trying to figure out the reason why he's not around a lot, because I can't comprehend that he has another family with another woman. I'm just under the impression that he's staying somewhere else. And my mother, she never told us anything about the reason why things were the way they were. And so I remember one distinct day, I came home from around at my auntie's house, and I came home and my father was there when my mother and they had been drinking. And so I don't know what I did. I don't know if I did anything or not, but he told me to pull down my pants, and he was gonna whip me, you know. I don't know to this day when I think about it if I did anything wrong or anything like that, but he did exactly that. He didn't whoop me. He stuck his finger in my rectum. I don't know why he did it. I just remember the pain. And he told me not to tell nobody because what he was doing was nothing wrong. He was doing it because he loved me. I don't know. I didn't know what to believe. I'm only 4. I didn't know what to believe. So I never said anything to anybody about it. But I believe that's when I changed. I started to be really, really mean and violent towards my little brother and my little sister. I started looking at my mom in a different way because I thought that she should know any and everything that's going on in my life. I'm only 4 years old. I don't have no choice but to try to understand I just try to understand what I did wrong, you know. And my father, he would always come around. He did it the one time, but he would come around and he would give me money, and he would always ask me, "You didn't tell nobody, did you? You didn't tell nobody about the little game we played?" I was like, "No, I didn't tell nobody," but I didn't respond to him like I used to. I didn't go and I wasn't happy to see him like I usually was. I remember one day my mother told me to do something, and I didn't do it because I didn't want to listen to her anymore, because I didn't trust her. So she whooped me, and after she whooped me, I waited until she went to sleep, and I set the house on fire with her in it. And I ran around to my auntie's house, and I sat on the porch, and I watched our house burn. Thank God that my mother woke up and she got out of the house. My brother and sister were already at my auntie's house. And my mother asked me why I did it, and I just didn't say nothing. I just didn't say anything. So I started to beat on my brother, beat on my little sister. I remember hitting my cousin in the head, busting his head. I was just out of control because I was in pain, and I didn't understand why I was in pain, because I still didn't understand why what happened to me happened to me. So moving forward a little bit, my mother, she wasn't married to my father. She married my stepfather, and he lived out here in California. So he brought me, my baby sister, my baby brother, my mom to California. And I used to ask my mother all the time, because once we got out here, being from the country and then moving to the city, the speed changed. Things started to happen too fast for me, and it was hard for me to catch up with what was going on. So I kind of shut down, and a lot of things I didn't want to do. I became very rebellious. I started doing a lot of things that I didn't want to do because I started doing things to hurt my mother. I didn't want to listen to her anymore. I didn't want her telling me nothing. You know, because I'm still trying to figure out, why did you let this happen to me? Why did you let this pain and disrespect, happened to me. I kind of understand more about it now that I'm older, but then at that age I didn't. So I just acted out. I didn't know how to talk to anybody. I didn't know how to explain to anybody what was going on with me. I didn't know how to explain to anybody that I had been hurt. Because I'm 4 years, I didn't understand anything. So we came out here, I was 5. My mother put us in school, and I liked school. I would go to school, and that's where I could be a kid, because I didn't have to look after my brother and my sister when I was in school. I could be a kid, I could run around, I could play, I could get to know people and hang out with other kids. And then when I came home, I had to look out for my baby brother and sister. Then I had to do my homework. I had to make sure they did their homework. So my childhood became limited. So the rebellion just started to grow and grow and grow. I started to not do what my mother wanted me to do. I started to wanting to do what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was anything I could to hurt her, because I didn't know how to talk to her. So my mother used to whoop me and whoop me and whoop me, and it got to the point where the whippings just didn't hurt anymore. I began to talk back. I began to be very disrespectful. I just began to be everything that I should have been. I was the opposite of that. And I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. As I got older, that same rebellion took me to a whole different place in my life. I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started to smoke weed. I think I was probably about, excuse me, 10 or 11. I think I was in 11 because I think I was getting ready to graduate from elementary school. I think I was in the 6th grade when I first started smoking weed. And I liked it because it took me out of a place of pain and put me into another, how can I say, it took me to another place of I guess, fun. I was able to open up more to my friends to a certain extent about what I had been through, but I would never give up the core root of my problem. So I started to lose interest in being a good kid and started to be attracted to being a rebellious kid. I didn't know how to talk to girls, and the marijuana gave me a newfound sense of, how can I say, of who I was. I was able to open up and talk to girls and stuff like that. But little did I know the resentment I held against my mom, I took out on other females. I mean, God has blessed me with a lot of beautiful females, a lot of wholesome females, a lot of females who loved me and wanted the best for me and went to bat for me. But the rebellion I had against my mother and the anger I held against my mom wouldn't let me get that love back. Wouldn't let me give that decency back, wouldn't let me give that caring and sharing that they were showing me, wouldn't let me give it back, because I thought that by me doing what I was doing and hurting other females, I looked at it as hurting my mom, but my mother loved me unconditionally. To this day, I've never told my mom. My mom has been gone almost 30 years. I've never told her that. And by not opening up and trying to explain to her what happened to me after I got older is because, I don't know, I guess the place where I was raised, like I'm a 59 baby, and I was raised in the early 60s and 70s, and I was taught and understood that a man was never supposed to cry. A man was never supposed to show a sign of weakness. And by me opening up and wanting to tell my mom, wanting to do the right thing, which saw a sign of weakness. So I stopped caring about my well-being, and I started putting my friends and everything else before my well-being, and I started caring about what other people thought about me instead of caring about what my mom thought about me. And like I said, it led me down a dark road, and I got deeper and deeper into drug addiction. The deeper I got, the more lost I became. And it was a struggle. It's been a struggle all the way up to this point, and I'm 62 years old. It's been a struggle. I've been in and out of drug programs. I go to the programs for all the right reasons, but I leave for all the wrong reasons. I became selfish, closed-minded, you know, and where I lived, it was a lot of gang activity. The gang activity in those days is not like the gang activity of these days where they do all this shooting and stuff like that. It was more bullying and forcing you into joining gangs. And I remember one day my mother told me, she said, if you ever join a gang or if I ever catch you with a tattoo on you, I'm gonna kill you. And something about the way she said that to me made me believe she was gonna do exactly what she said. So I became, in that aspect, more afraid of my mom than I did of the gang members. They would constantly chase me home from school, you know, trying to get me to join these gangs. And I had one gang at school on this side of the town chasing me home. Then I lived right across the street from the projects, and these guys are trying to get me to join. So I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I had to become very, very manipulative, you know, in order to survive in the surroundings that I was in. I had to act a certain way around certain people to get certain results, so I wouldn't get beat up, I wouldn't get robbed, or you know, they wouldn't beat up my baby brother and my baby sister because everybody knew everybody. And life was extremely, extremely hard because I really lost myself because the lie I was living started to become my truth. And to this day, I've never told anybody that. I've never told anybody this. But, you know, I'm in recovery now. I have 47 days clean. I'm in recovery. I have a sponsor, and my sponsor is taking me through the work of the big books of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it tells me that I have to let go of all that pain, have to let go of all that sorrow, and I have to start forgiving people. I'm early in the work, but I go to a lot of meetings and stuff like that, and they kind of clarify and hit on different points in their lives that happened in mine. I'm still afraid to look forward because I've never looked past my nose at my future. But God has blessed me to continue to have good people in my life. God has blessed me with a beautiful female. She's been with me for 17 years, and I've took this young lady through the ringer. But for some reason, she refuses to give up on me. So she's given me hope. I'm starting to get to the point to where, that's why when somebody approached me about this interview, I kind of hesitated because I didn't know how you were going to look at me. I don't know how the people who are watching this interview is going to look at me. But I know that it's not about what you guys think about me. It's about me being free. And this is what I have to do to be free. And I'm going to have to do it anyway, going through the work with my sponsor. So I have to start somewhere. I think sometimes, why did I wait so long to finally get it, to finally want to be the person that I know I wanted to be? I didn't graduate from school. I didn't get to go to college. You know, I went to the School of Hard Knocks. The streets was my school, and everything that associated with the streets. I mean, in my drug addiction, I did some things, boy, that I didn't want to tell anybody I did. I've almost slept with another man. I've let another man have oral sex with me. Um, I've almost let another man have intercourse with me. You know, I'm just so grateful and thankful that God intervened when He did. The incident with the guy that wanted to have intercourse with me, I think the only reason why that didn't happen is because of the drugs we were smoking, and he couldn't get erection. It's embarrassing to tell this story, yes it is, but it's necessary for my future. It's necessary for me to maintain my sanity. It's necessary for me to grow by getting rid of my hurts and my pains and my sorrows and my embarrassment. Because if I don't, it's going to continue to stunt my growth in my life. And like I said, I'm 62 years old. I don't think I have a whole lot of time left. So I have to start somewhere, and as a result of all the drugs and all that stuff, I'm starting to lose my teeth. They're coming out slowly but surely. Is that embarrassing to me? Yes. Is it necessary to me? No. But I can't tell nature how to be nature. All I can do is try to put myself in a position to where when these things arise, I can kind of make a way to take care of it. Like now, I've been clean for 47 days. I make my doctor's appointments. I go to the dentist where getting ready to start the process of making me some partials, and for some reason, I've always loved to smile. Even with my teeth out, I still smile, and I do it unconsciously because that's just who I am. I've never been a bad kid. I've never been a bad guy. I just made bad decisions for all the wrong reasons. So I'm just at the point in the stage of my life now to where I'm taking responsibility and owning up, to the results that happened in my life, because nobody put a gun to my head, nobody put a knife around my throat, nobody did anything of that nature to make me do what I did or make me choose the path in my life that I chose. It was all because of I was supposed to feel and how I wanted you to feel about me. I didn't care if you didn't know how I felt about you, because you didn't care to me. You didn't matter to me. It was all about me, and it was all about what you could do for me. If you couldn't do anything for me, I didn't have no time for you. And that's how I went through all these different relationships with all these different females. I didn't care about what you did for me because I didn't appreciate what you did for me, because I didn't appreciate myself. So I lived a double life. I'm so grateful and thankful to you, Mark, for allowing me to come, and open up and share. And I know this is going to be seen by a lot of people, but I don't care. I don't care, because I'm free. And it's a start in the right direction, And as I'm speaking, as I'm telling you this, I'm starting to feel better about a whole lot of things. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, because I always told myself I'm gonna take that to the grave. Ain't nobody gonna never know that about me. Ain't nobody gonna never know the almost embarrassing and things that I've done. And I'm just glad that it was some of the lines I done crossed. I mean, I've have robbed people and stuff like that in my drug addiction, but as far as hurting anybody or killing anybody or maiming anybody, I wasn't that guy. If I can manipulate you out of what I wanted, if I can manipulate you into doing what I wanted, that I was that guy, you know, and I didn't waste a lot of time with it. If you didn't do what I wanted you to do, that means that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So to me, that made you stronger than me. So I would move on to the next person, you know, but I'm just thankful and grateful that God brought me to the place that I am right now, you know, and I know a whole lot more than I did before I got here. And if my mother was still alive, I would love to just hug her and tell her, Mama, I'm sorry, because she did the best she could do with what she had. She wanted the best of me, and she showed it on a continual basis. She never gave up on me. She tried to talk to me. She took me to psychiatrists. And the psychiatrist would tell my mother wasn't nothing wrong with me, and my mother would tell the psychiatrist, y'all crazy. There's something's wrong with my son. He's crazy. If I could do anything right now, I just want to tell my mother I'm sorry. And I love her. I thank her for everything she done for me. And even when my mother died, my auntie asked me to ask my mother for forgiveness, and she was on her deathbed, and I told her, I said, Mama, if you forgive me, I'm sorry. If you forgive me, squeeze my hand. And my mother squeezed my hand, and she died. She died. I'm sorry. It's been hard. It's been hard because I really never had anybody to talk to about it, because I would always wonder what you would think about me, because I didn't want to look weak. I didn't want to show no humility, you know, but I'm human. I'm human, and it hurts to not be who you want to be, but you can't be who you want to be because you're so used to being who you don't want to be. And it's hard to come back. It's hard to come back to that space where everything in your life was fine, where everything in your life mattered. But I'm trying, and God is blessing me. That's why I'm still here.
It takes courage to do what you're doing.
It takes more than encouragement. It takes a lot of belief. I have to believe in myself when nobody else will believe in me. I have to believe that I can change. I have to believe that I can get back to that place in my life where I matter. I had to believe that on a daily basis. And this last program that I've been, I've took myself to the program. I'm tired of living like this. I was the type of addict to where I would get clean for a minute and I would accumulate things. I would get the girl, I would get the clothes, the jewels and all that, and the prestige, and I would have people trust me, knowing that I was gonna let all them down, because I just wanted what I wanted, because the more things I accumulated, the more I got you to trust me, the more I got you to believe in me. When I went and did what I want to do, I could get more out of you. I would have more things to pawn. I pawned my wedding. I've been married. I pawned my wedding ring. I pawned my baby sister's radio. I used to steal out of my mother's purse. I was addicted to all the wrong things.
Can you tell me what stopping crack
Yes.
is like?
It's hard. I was staying outside before I came in here, and I had to pray. From the time I got here until I walked into this door, I had to pray, because everything that's out there attracts me. I used to be here. I used to be these people. And everything about it still attracts me, but I have to fight. I have to fight every day. I have to pray. I have to believe that I can do this. I have to believe that I can change. I have to believe that I can allow God to continue to bless me and to bring me back to who I am.
Did you once live on Skid Row?
Yes.
You did, Wayne.
Yes, I'm buried on Skid Row. I used to walk up and down the streets with the buggies and eat out of trash cans. I've done all that. It was down here where I let a man have oral sex with me. It was right here on Skid Row, right here on 7th and I can't think of the 7th and Stanford. Yeah, for a $10 rock. For a $10 rock. You know, I believe, Mark, it's so much stuff bundled deep down inside of me that wants to come out. And I finally became willing. I finally became willing to accept the fact that everything I did was experience. I have to understand that I had to experience the bad to appreciate the good. You know, so I have to talk about the bad things in my life to open up and make room for the good things in my life. You know, and I have to continue to believe on a daily basis that the things I went through wasn't me. I'm at the point now where I call it the other guy. You know, all the bad things that happened in my life, it didn't happen to me, it happened to the other guy. Because the guy that I am now, he doesn't even come close to the other guy. You know, it's like getting up and riding a bike again. It's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of concentration and a lot of willingness, but I can do it. I can do it, you know, and I've tried to get clean a lot of times, but I've never been this serious in my life. You know, I don't think about getting high. Even when I was out there, the addiction works in different ways. It was trying to bring back memories of the good times when I was on Skid Row. But the reality of my experience tells me that ain't gonna be nothing good once the party is over.
What do you think has changed in you that you're now ready to do it?
My belief. My belief has changed. My willingness has become more stronger because I know right from wrong, Mark. I'm not a dumb guy by any aspect. I'm very, very intelligent. But I spent all that energy and intelligence on learning street knowledge and not book knowledge. I learned just enough book knowledge to get me by. I love reading. I like to write. I like to tell stories because telling people stories, I can make up stuff and make other people believe that the story I'm telling is about somebody else, but the story I'm telling is really about me. I feel like a great weight has been lifted off my shoulder because I know deep down in my heart that it's the right thing to do. You know, I'm not embarrassed about anybody seeing this. I'm not embarrassed about letting anybody know my story. If it can help anybody, God bless them. I think the message I'm trying to relay is that don't be afraid of your experience. Don't be afraid of the things you go through, because if you're here today and you have an opportunity to change and an opportunity to understand that you need to change, please don't hesitate to do it, because I tell myself all the time, me being 62 is better late than never. You know, I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know what 15 minutes from now holds, but I know I won't be high. You know, that's all the power I have. And I just have to keep on moving on, man. I just have to keep on being strong. I have to keep on believing in myself. I can't afford to have, to try to spend all my time and energy trying to have someone else believe in me. Believing in myself will allow me to be who I am and not who I think you want me to be. That was a big misconception in my life too. I tried to be what everybody else wanted me to be, to get out of being me, because I was in so much pain and confusion. And you know, when I think about it now, Mark, you know, I had to pray for my father. I had to pray for my father and ask for his forgiveness, because that's what the program wants me to do. That's what the program teaches me to do. I can't hold anybody else accountable for my mistakes, my choices. People are sick. Sick people do sick things. And all I can do, if I want to continue to grow, is forgive them for being sick. Forgive them for doing the things they did. You know, I know my mother loves me. She proved it to me when she squeezed my hand on her dying bed and she forgave me. You know, and I know she's looking down on me right now at this interview. You know, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And the change in me is real. The change in me is real. You know, I'm gonna say this and shut up. To anybody who's listening, you can say you're changing all you want to, but if what you're saying is not what you're living, you're doing yourself a disservice. You know, stop living in the fantasy world. Get back to the real world. Own up to your wrongs. Own up to your experiences, because the same experiences that kept you down can open the door for new experiences to bring you up.
It's great to see somebody actually doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard, man, but it's doable. It's doable. You know, when you remove you out of your own way, you'll be surprised at things that you can do. Even I've been 47 days clean, I got money in my pocket. I can go buy me a hamburger if I'm hungry. I can buy me a soda or water if I'm thirsty. I got cigarettes, you know. I can do basically what I want to do, you know, and that's what living is. Being able to feed yourself, clothe yourself, do things to make you feel good. That's what I do. I do things that make me feel good. Even if, like riding the train, I'm from the Antelope Valley, and riding the train to get here, I was content, even though I knew that I was going to have to get real. It was an opportunity for me to better myself. I didn't look at it as, well, what are people going to think about me? Or, is any of my family members going to see this? I don't give a fuck. Straight up. You know, because I don't want you to like me for who you want me to be. I want you to like me for who I am. You know, be open with me and I'll be open with you. No longer do what you think about me matter. You know, because what you eat don't make me shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that, but it's the truth. If you drink a beer, it's not gonna get me drunk. So why should I let what you think about me fuck my life up? Been there, done that. I forgive everybody involved, but I got to forgive myself more than anything, because I'm the one that matters. You know, once I get myself together, I can start to do what I need to do to help others get themselves together. You know, and I hope that's what someone gets out of this interview.
It's a beautiful talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.